Right now, I'm currently singing with my girl, Patrice, LaVon, with the group called what is our name? Mixology. You get beat up for them. Take that out. But yeah, no, we also recorded, some songs with her at what's your name? Carl. Just to make things up now. But yeah, we called Guitar Wise, and then we got, got some really, really good product out of that, and we working on selling that and doing it at the shows that we do. I was also nominated for a Soul Train Music Award and Writers, award. Was the first we with the guest group we did the first Atlanta Music Awards show. I don't know if he was born. But yeah, it was, we had a good time doing it. And, traveled a lot and on the road, need to get a lot of rest. And as far as me doing more stuff right now, I'm gonna record some more, probably with my friend Ryan with the group guest, but definitely with Mrs. Patrice LaVon. Yeah, and get more stuff going with her, and cause she wants to kind of get out there a little bit, so we're gonna help her out. And like I say, I'm gonna do some gospel stuff, and just keep it going. On the road, I know people heard a lot of the horror stories, which they are true. You got your backstabbers and this and that, but you have fun on the road. You make it your own. It's a business. So when you go to your performances, you make sure you get your money, because we've been people tried to shiest us, but my road manager, he was a big guy at that point, so he went out with the promoter and said, we need this, before this happens, and also, I've been performing with a lot of national groups and stuff. You got your parties here and parties there, but the thing on the road, you need to rest. You need to you do your thing, you go shake a couple of hands, hey, how you doing? Meet a couple of people, but you need to rest, because that if you don't get your rest, that ends up going into some other stuff that you don't want to definitely. Like drugs. Yeah, drugs and more drugs and this, that, and the other, but a lot of people get caught up into that. You don't want to be in the street. They trying to kill. Nah, stuff like that, because the stories are very true. And I've seen it up front. It's sad, but the major things you need to do is handle this like a business. Do it like you supposed to do. Have what's patience. Everything don't come like that. Some things do, but have patience and let things go natural and in order. And then you can take them steps, and then them steps will be good for you, instead of trying to, and you just everywhere. But if you take those steps, it'll always work out for you. Even with when we were signed with the record company, the first deal was pretty crazy, cause we were everywhere. Fortunately, I didn't never get in, we never got on drugs. We never, we went to some parties, and when that stuff started happening, we said, you ready to go? I said, yeah, we out. So we got, thank God that we weren't, he said, look here, I'm gonna help y'all get up out of here. So I put it all on God. And, so we just made our way up out of those parties. And after that, we stopped going to them. We'll just meet people as we do our shows and things, and we'll talk with them there, and then numbers or whatever, and then we go ahead and do what we got to do, handle it as a business.
Wasn't that kind of unusual, because nobody in your group strayed?
it was a blessing.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
That
we
okay,
and
okay.
still for today, it was a blessing. We never did it. Like I say, it's all God. He put it in it, everything in His hands, and He make like you say, He make the mountains move.
That's great. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we'll be back.
All right.
Carl, guitar, Watkins.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I forgot to mention. I did mention that I was a deacon, but I forgot to mention my church because my pastor see this. Thank you. Second New Mount Zion, Pastor Emmanuel Cersei, which is my best friend, and we grew up together. He's a musician as well. We grew up together, like Marvin and Dr. Brown Ridge were musicians when they were kids, and we were also. I've been doing this a long time, long time. Started in junior high playing saxophone and guitar. That's what kept me out the street. I thank God for it, and it's funny how people would come to me as a professional musician and a lot of CDs out now and stuff out, and they say, "Carl, you real good." Try to be modest. Well, thank you. Man, man, you should have made it. And my partner, business partner, Dr. Brown, said, "Carl, define made it."
Right.
And I had to think about that. What does that mean?
Uh,
Darryl, what does that mean, man?
what made it to
What-
me is
Yeah.
you got a product, you was able to put it out, whether it's low or whether it's
There it is. There it is. Because some people think you made it, you'd be on that Beyonce level or whatever. As long as you put something out,
Mhm.
like you said, put something out. And the main thing for me is touching people through my music.
Yeah.
That's the main focus. And it's funny how we started. We were Style Track Records at first, and we wanted to uh, do a project which was called Style. The group was called Style. Tobbie was part of that, and Dewana and Vicky Mothershed, I think that's her name now, and yeah, a few others. And I think one we spent, I think like $10,000 on a 4-song demo. That was a lot of money in 1998. A lot of money. So we was like, you know what? I think we could do this ourselves. So that's how we end up purchasing our own recording gear and start producing our own stuff. And we went from we went from Style Track Records to Gyra Records because we really didn't want to do the gospel. I mean, we didn't want to do the R&B stuff. And I got to take you back to the R&B thing. We were on. Were you with us, Tobbie? We was on Channel 2. Were you with us? Okay, yeah. We was on Channel. We went to Channel 2 to do this song called Enjoy. And yeah, Enjoy. I think Marvin and Dr. Brownridge went up front. And I was standing back. And I'm thinking, it's like, this don't look like an R&B group. Because their heart wasn't really in the R&B. They was really in gospel. And I'm looking like, this look like a gospel group. Wait, I'm sorry. Going back before then, we did a thing at the Ambassador. Remember that one?
I had it on my list to talk about.
Yes. Did a thing, and we actually opened up for the Lunatics. Cedric Entertainer was the host and everything, and we had a singer that was with us that didn't show up. He had to work or something, and I had to fill in. Because I was supposed to, I wanted to step back and just want to write and produce, but I knew the steps and all that. We had professional choreographer and all that. Anyway, we get up there on stage, and I know we were sounding good because we don't put out junk. And the audience, go back to church, go back to church. It's like, go back to church. We're not in church. We're trying to sing R&B, but check this out. During that time, that's when Beyonce and what was that group? Destiny Child was coming out. They were hot. So we trying to compete with that, and they're not that tight. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, yeah. So we actually end up going back to gospel and smooth jazz. And then we end up doing Marvin's project, which turned out, like he said, very successful. And I come back and listen to some of that stuff, man. That stuff, We did a good job on that. We had a little bitty a chord, something K90 or whatever that thing was, and actually it turned out pretty good for a cheap, well. But yeah, but now we're at Gyra Records, and I'm writing and producing for a lot of artists here in St. Louis. Darryl is one of them. Patrice is one of them now. We produce Marvin stuff. Curtis, how do you pronounce his last name? Magruder, his gospel project. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. But I just thank God for the journey that I'm on now. And I'm not gonna lie, I love my R&B. I do. I love old school R&B, and I still love playing it. But I don't do the clubs anymore because, like Marvin was saying, some of the club owners just couldn't do it anymore. So, like I said, I just enjoy writing and producing and playing as well. Okay, yes, sir.
All right. Sammie, the person I have pleasure with playing every Sunday morning.
Yeah, I enjoy myself playing on Sunday mornings, but like I say, I do a little R&B stuff. Matter of fact, I got a nice little thing coming up today at 5:00. So I'm supposed to be playing at the Ameristar with Ebony Stiegel, and she's a very good, very talented young lady. And I love playing, but I started in gospel. That's my thing. I did the gospel thing. I've been doing that pretty much, grew up in it. And some kind of way I ran into Marvin on one of his, I can't remember how we met, for real. But I was at Greater Mount Carmel, and Marvin asked me would I come play for what was the name of the choir? Inspiration. Yeah, I used to play once a month. I mean, once a year. It was July. The concert. Yeah, the concert, and I liked it so much. And Carl was playing. Then I guess, I don't know, they needed a drummer. And Marvin called me and asked me was I still playing at my church. I told him no. So he got me to come over to Greater Mount Carmel. I started playing on Sundays for about a year. And then I liked the church so much, I just joined it, and I've been with Greater Mount Carmel for 3-4 years now, and I just enjoy playing every Sunday. It's like home away from home. They treat me like a king, really. And everybody shows love, so I just love playing over there. So that's about it. I'm very shy when it comes down to talking to people. So I ain't got a lot to say, but I just love playing with Marvin. Go ahead.
Enjoy that too. Tell us a little bit about, as far as your band life, because, before I met you, you over here, you going out of town.
And I'm still doing that.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, well, like I say, I got, I play with about 3 different bands, and I get I get a lot of calls to sub for different guys, and a lot of them I like doing, a lot of them I don't. Like I did one last night. I'm sure you saw it because you made a comment on it. And these guys, it's fun playing. It's just fun, but like I said, the club thing, I'm not into that. It's just one of them things that I don't really get off into. For as everybody talking about doing stuff for us, getting into it with like drugs and all that stuff, I'm not into none of that, and I don't get caught up with that kind of stuff. I'm straightforward when it comes down to that, and I take my job very serious when it comes down to that stuff. And I'm one of those type of musicians. If you call me and ask me to do something, be somewhere, I'm an on-time guy. You can depend on me for whatever the case may be, and that's about it, you know.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
What type of drummer would you call yourself? R&B, jazz, gospel?
You just named all three of them. Yeah. Yeah, I do all that. I mean, I love music, all music, but I grew up in gospel. Yes, yeah. Anything else?
Kim.
Okay. Well, I'm Kim Fuller Barnes, and we'd be here all night if I had to talk about my situation. And I don't even remember half that stuff.
You in the kindergarten before?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not. Mm-mm. But I remember growing up in a household where my parents were very into music. Daddy was a part-time DJ, and he worked at General Motors, but he was a part-time DJ. So the music was very diverse, but he loved jazz. So every night he would take 9 albums and stack them on top of each other, and he would play these 9 albums. And this was in the time when my sister and I were into the Jackson 5 Ohio Players. And he'd be playing Thelonious Monk, Nancy Wilson, West Montgomery, and we try to hide the Jackson 5 in between. And then one time, I don't know if you remember, it's Hell. Remember the Ohio Players? Yeah. It's Hell. No. And boy, we put that in there, and Daddy jumped up. Whoa, what happened? Who put that terrible stuff on? So I grew up in that type of situation, and I sang in church all the time. And when I went off to school, I went off to Illinois State, and I was a senior, and they had a major in music. And so I took this little class. They were like, take it, girl, it's easy. So I took the class, and so the grad assistant taught it. And so she was hitting, and that's when I was this first soprano. And so she was like hitting all these notes, and I was hitting all the notes. And she was like, girl, you need to major in voice. I'm like, I'm a senior. So I graduated, got with the group, and you know who this is, Vera Parham. I got with Vera, and we did only original music. And so once a year. So one of the members said, go with me. There's this guy that's really talented. And he was Ralph Butler.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Ralph? And the guy that I was with said, she can sing, let her sing a song. So Ralph was so nice. He was like, well, here's my song. Let's pick something. So I picked a song. And it was like a Wednesday, and it was a nice crowd. It wasn't real crowded, but I got a standing ovation. So Ralph said, look, I'm going to Vegas for 3 to 4 months, and I need somebody to take my place. I had only sang in church. Didn't, I was like, oh. And when I was up there, I would look down on the ground. I was like this, terrified. And so he said, all you got to do is learn the material. So that's kind of how I got kind of thrusted out there. And he was wonderful. Every time I would come, when he would sing, I would sing a song, and then the next time a couple of songs, until I started doing all of that. So he left, and we became, Ralph Butler featuring, the Ralph Butler Band featuring me. And so, excuse me, when he got back, we had done so well without him. He was like, Kim, do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, I love it. And he was like, well, if you want to do it, I can always get a band. And so we were like, okay. So we changed the name, and for about 2 years I did that. And then after that, they had the Coors Climb On Up talent contest, and I won that. And so that was like a national Coors commercial that I was able to do. And then I had my own band, but I didn't like that because I didn't have dependable people. I would go to the gig, and there wouldn't be a drummer. Yeah. Nobody called. Or I know one time I did a gig, and there was the drummer and the bass player and me, the whole gig. So I had an offer to join Galaxy, the the Lenny Klinger band. And what I liked about that, was, before I was with Ralph's band, I was singing 30, 40 songs a night by myself. And so with Lenny, there was always another vocalist. Yeah. He booked the bands. He took care of everything. You just went in, sang your songs, got paid. So I found myself stuck in that, though, for about 20 years. But, and then I was working, through the day. And so, but I got caught into that, which was not all bad because we opened up for some really, I know we opened up for Smokey Robinson, a lot of, I just can't even think of everybody. And then I was able to one time, the Jazz Crusaders were at the Kiel Opera House and I opened up for them. What's his name? Ramsey Lewis, I opened up for him. So along my career, I've just been blessed because I never thought I could sing. I sang in the angel choir at church, never thought I had a voice that would sustain me. So when I went off to school, I majored in, I became a speech pathologist, went back and got my master's, in speech path, worked for St. Louis Public Schools for 40 years, retired, just went back, so I wanted me some flooring for my house, so I went back. Needed some more money, so I had to go do what I had to do. And I'm still doing it, still trying to get the same floors. Went back this school year. But I have been so fortunate in my life. I never thought that the singing would sustain me. And yet I've always been given like opportunities. And even now, I'm just so blessed. People will ask me, like Marvin and I went to high school together. And I hadn't seen, we were not on the same circuit, I guess, because he never saw me, I never saw him. And then for years. And then it was like one day we just, I don't know, I think we were working together. Yeah, Vivian had come back after she retired to our district. And because she's an SLP too. And we just, I don't know, some kind of way, we kind of hooked up. And so now I'm in the loop and I'm just as happy as I can be. I mean, so I've been very, very, very fortunate. And so what ended up happening, though, how I ended up with the jazz thing, I got with Lenny, and I was not really an R&B singer, and I was just doing the jazz stuff at standards. But some kind of way I got caught up in there doing this R&B stuff. And so I did a gig one time. Somebody said, you should do a jazz gig. And I did this gig, and it was wonderful. I felt so comfortable. And it was like, this is what you should be doing. And then I thought, well, apparently some kind of way subconsciously, I must have sucked up some of that Nancy Wilson stuff that Daddy was playing and then Carmen McRae, because I never tried to really listen to them. I hear all the time, you sound like Nancy Wilson. I never sat down and tried to say, let me try to, sound like her. But I'm sure after all the hearing it for years and years and every night, I guess I must have subconsciously, picked it up. So now I feel like that is what I really enjoy, the jazz thing more. And so I've been able to do a lot of things with that. I work at the Sheldon with some more musicians. We do the jazz story where we try to teach jazz to, K through 12 students. I work with this gospel group, and they take jazz standards and add lyrics to them. And it is very interesting. So I'm able to serve God and do the jazz thing. I'm also, I teach jazz voice at SIU, and that was strange how that came about. But and so it's just, I've just been very blessed in my life, and then Wendy gives a jazz Heaven hit series every year where she pays homage to different artists that have transitioned. And so I don't know, I just know it's God ordering my steps because I never thought I could sing a note. And so I'm just thankful. And surely at 67, I'm not what I used to be, but I thank him for the little bit that's still here. And so I just feel very honored to be here. I think I've learned a lot of things along the way. I think the best thing that I've learned is you have to treat people the way you want to be treated. And I know I've gotten a whole lot of gigs. Not because I was the better vocalist, but because I just I could get along with everybody, and I've never been diva-ish. I've been harder on me than anybody, and so it's like, I feel like what I've really learned is if you are kind and try to treat people respectfully, it kind of comes back, it really does come back, So I'm just going to keep doing what I want to do. And now I'm at that age where I do what I want to do, and I look more at jazz and singing as something that I enjoy. So it's a part of my life that I enjoy, and I feel so honored to be part of it. In whatever capacity that is, I just feel so honored to be a part of it. And then, sometimes you get paid for doing what you like. I mean, come on now, that's the best of two worlds. So that's it. I know that's a lot. Yes, I have. Oh my gosh. Yes, I have. But I don't know if I would say it's been like on that national level, like you're saying, like with Beyonce. But I've been with lots of groups where we've done a lot of traveling. I've been on the road a lot. A lot with Lenny. Oh my God. Oh my God. A lot with Lenny. And that was very hard because I had a young daughter, and and a husband, and then I had a full-time job. And so with Lenny, we would go on a Friday, do the gig, come back, pick right back up on Saturday, go to the next gig, come back. And so sometimes had Sunday gigs, and then I'd be right back at work. And then that was when I was working on my master's. So after getting off work, I'd go work on the master's and work in the non-public after-school program. I mean, it was rough. My daughter was really upset. She was like, "Mommy, why does Mr. Lenny always have to send my mommy out of town? Why can't he send somebody else's mommy out of town?" And I never forget, she was 7 years old. And I said, "Snow, when Mr. Lenny sends me out of town," I said, "all those extra things that you want, and those extra, like what, Mommy?" And I was, when I got you such and such, yeah, that was because of Mr. Lenny's extra money, right? So when she was 10, I decided I was going to quit. I said, "I'm quitting because my baby is study complaining." So I said, "Snow, guess what? Good news, I'm quitting." And she said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I know you want me home." And she said, "But Mommy, if you quit, how do I get my extra things?" And I'm like, this girl has sense. Yeah. So I stayed with Lenny, stayed with him 20 years. Yeah, smart girl. But I've done a lot of traveling, but it hasn't been like on that, but Lord, with a lot of bands. And you're right. Lenny is ill. I think he has some type of neurological problem, and he just recently disbanded the group. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll be back.
Okay.
Tobbie, tell us.
Yes.
Someone who I've been blessed to know for a number of years now.
For a number of years. Gosh, I think our paths crossed with church. Pilgrim in my church, Lane Tabernacle. Just a little bit. I have not been traveling with my music or anything like that. I started playing at the age of, I started taking lessons at the age of 7. And it wasn't one of those things that I really wanted to do. It's one of those things that my grandmother said, "Oh, you're going to play piano." Okay. So I took piano lessons from a lady up the street from us, Violet Williams Studios, and everybody on the block took piano lessons. We would all just walk there together and take piano lessons. I did that until I was 14, and a church was looking for a musician. She said, let me see if I can teach my students gospel. I never thought I was going to play for a church. That was the furthest thing from my mind, to play for a church. Who wants to do that? One thing was that we had a lady at my church. She would play the organ. We had one of those big Baldwin organs with pipes and everything. Mm-hmm. She would play with her hat and her dress. She would dress, back in the day, they would dress from feet to head. Mm-hmm. She said, "I play every Sunday. I don't get to wear my pretty hats to match my outfit." So she would sit on the organ with her hat on and she would play. I would sit in the back of the church and say, "Don't ever want to be that lady playing on the organ with that hat on like that." So I never wanted to be a church musician, but my piano teacher put the Baptist hymnal in my hand and said, "Start at page 1 and learn every song in this book. Learn how to play." Used to fight it. But in a couple of years, because every week when I went back, I had to at least play 5 songs in that book. So I know how to play all the songs in the Baptist hymnal. But you had to learn how to read music to play. So I took piano lessons until I was about 16 or 17, and boys came into play. So I didn't want to do it anymore. But in that term, my very first job was at an AME church, and I was paid $50. And I thought I was in heaven. $50. But that taught me that I had to be, because I went in being the person in charge. That taught me how to be the director, how to teach songs, how to just be present, be on time. You had to be on time for church. So to be on time, to get along with people, because you're dealing with a lot of people when you go to church. We all know that. So along came Marvin somewhere after. Well, I majored in education, so I went into teaching. I taught for a couple of years. Then I went into administration at my school, and where I am now. And somewhere along the way, Marvin and I connected, and he said, "Well, I'm recording a CD." So that's when I met Carl. And we did the CD. I remember going to the Ambassador when you were talking about that. We looked good. We thought we were cute. We had our little hair flipped. We had our outfits. We had practiced everything. We were ready, ready, ready. We got up there, and the only thing I can remember to this day is somebody said, "Little church girls, go back to church." Because we thought we were. But we must have been doing the church step, and we did it. We could sing. We sounded good, but that made me, and that's always kind of resonated with me, because if that's what your foundation is, you can't get rid of it.
That's right.
There's going to come out somewhere. I've heard, and I know we all have heard musicians, whether it's a instrumentalist or it's a vocalist of singing, they either give praise or somewhere along the way, a song is going to come out. A church song or something. There's a foundation there. So I say, even if church is not your thing, don't give up that foundation of it all. So I'm at school every day with elementary age kids, and they took music out of the schools because they didn't have funding for it. And my school is a private independent school. So they tried to kind of push away from it a little bit and not push it. So we had some kids that learned. They wanted to play the saxophone. We had some that wanted to play drums, but they saw other people in other situations that played the drums, like drum lines and things like that. So I asked why can't we have a drum line? Why can't we? So if we don't, as musicians, put it out there and push for it, it's not going to happen. It doesn't take much to teach a kid. We all, I think, were exposed as little kids, and here we are now. You were exposed at some point. You were definitely exposed at some point. There it is. There's history right there. So we have to keep that going. We have to keep that going. So now, I would really love to record. My son has been saying, "Well, Mom, you've been singing forever, so why don't you record?" Because it's a timing thing too. But what you want to do, you'll make time for. So, at some point I will, Marvin Cockrell. At some point I will, but that is an aspiration of mine that I would like to do. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I haven't traveled and did all of this, but I have the utmost respect for the people that I've met. We've become friends. And when we see each other, we may not see each other but once or twice a year. But it's like we haven't missed a beat. And we have stories and things like that. So making those connections, there are connections that are going to be made in this room, because I haven't sat down with you before. I've seen you. I've been at your shows, all of that. We've seen each other. We've met. But if I see you again, and I think I've seen you in a show, a Black Rep show or something. I've seen you in some show somewhere because I remember your face. But, you'll see these people. And now we have a different kind of connection. So I think that's that part of it too. And so thank you for this.
Now, you have done some performing on stage. I'd like you to kind of talk about that as far as, say, when I first asked you your thoughts and how you were rejecting it, and then, just like lady at church said, that other young lady, short hair. I said, Tobbie said, yeah, I really enjoyed her. I was like, oh, I need to tell Tobbie that. So kind of, how you felt about being pushed out of church and your confidence, because you were like, I can't do this.
That was a big push. I was talking to I think Darryl earlier. I'm the most introverted person walking. I can be by myself all day, every day, and I'm good. But if I'm put in the spot like this, or I'm asked to do something, I'm going to give my best. I'm going to learn what I need to do, and then step out there on faith and just do it. We used to do a show at my church called the Cotton Club, from the cotton field to the cotton club, where we would portray a person. So I remember I had to learn music for Whitney Houston. So, you have to go into costume and do all that and sing and whatever. That's hard to do Whitney Houston. It really is. So you have to step. I think things like that expose you to that sort of thing. There is no way in the world I would have gotten up on stage with Marvin's group to sing with these professional people up here. But I just kind of get in my lane and hold my own, with them. But yeah, once you step out, keep stepping out, and then you'll get more, you know. That's it.
Hey, Toby, you
Thank
said you want to record, huh?
Yeah, eventually.
You know what? My office hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Okay. It's the connections of it all. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I'd like to introduce the song presenters, Patrice, LaVon.
Hello.
They know that you had a funeral to deal with, but we introduced ourselves and then we'll just talk about our career path. So basically, this all want you just to relax and just fill us in on what makes Patrice LaVon. Because I knew you as Patrice Williams when I met you.
Correct. You know the government name. So, hello everyone. My name is Patrice LaVon Williams. LaVon is my middle name. And wow. Growing up, childhood, grade school, I'll start there, when there was music in school. And you would learn music, the basics, and you learn on little recorders. You remember those recorders? And, you would sing songs. And by the time 5th grade, 6th grade, the music teacher was, really fond of me and told my mom that you really need to help Patrice develop her music. She has an excellent ear. She catches on quickly. She just needs some training. And I sung for the first time in 6th grade on the stage in the gymnasium, God Bless the Child. And from there, I was 11 years old. So when I became 12, my mom reached out and got me vocal lessons at CASA, which is now known as COCA. And I studied voice, of course, learning how to breathe correctly, using the diaphragm. And we would have recitals where you would demonstrate or display what you have learned, what you have been taught, learning foreign language, sing songs in Italian, German, and French. I was also, by the time I got to high school, middle school and high school, I played the clarinet. So I was first and second chair in the band. I was also in the marching band, and I was also on the flag line. So I had music around me in some way. And around age 16, I got baptized at Progressive Baptist Church. And that was right before I left St. Louis to go to college. And I went to school in New Orleans, Louisiana to study vocal performance. And so, of course, that's a whole new world, going away from home. I didn't know anybody, and I was in New Orleans, like the city of jazz and blues, man, the Big Easy. And the choir was phenomenal, and I enjoyed myself so much. So every spring, the choir would go out and do a tour. And they would tour to different cities and states to recruit students. And we would go to various churches, and we would sing. It was a whole performance, and we had the privilege of meeting a lot of people and staying at their homes. They welcomed us in. They fed us well. And it was kind of prestigious because you're like, oh, we get to travel, And I was singing in the choir. I was in the quartet and the sextet. I just skipped high school, but and then I came back home in 1993. And I started going to Cornerstone Institutional Baptist Church. And fantastic choir. Now, most people know churches, most choirs only rehearse once a week. But our choir, we rehearse twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday, because our pastor, Reverend Melvin Smotherson, Whew, if you know Reverend Melvin Smotherson, he was well-known vocalist and he was big on music. That was his thing, music. So he wanted his choir to be fantastic. So anytime he went out to preach and we was going with him, he wanted his choir to shine. And so when they met me and I came from college and I came with all the training and my studies, it was kind of strange because I learned proper singing. Not saying that gospel is not proper singing, but it's a different way of singing because you're singing a lot of times, you're using a forward sound and, you got to breathe and open up and use another sound from your diaphragm. And so immediately I was given like all kind of leads and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was put out there to sing in front of the church and that was an experience. So I had a lot of experiences singing. And Reverend Smotherson's, one of his sons, Wayne Smotherson, and Pam Smotherson, his daughter, but Wayne said, Patrice. Now, before Wayne came to me, I also was singing in another choir outside the church called Rapture. Rapture was a known gospel choir under the direction of Amos Isaac. And we was phenomenal choir. And Wayne came to me and said, Treese, have you ever thought about making a little money with singing? I was like, no, never crossed my mind. Well, you might want to come over to this rehearsal, this audition for this band. And I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. Do what? So we went to this church over in the Hill area, I believe it was. And it was in the basement of this church. And myself, along with Pam Smotherson, we went down there and they was having rehearsal and then they had us to get up to sing. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to sing. And he gave us this list of different songs. And I was like, I don't know these songs. And sometimes you know more than you think you know. And then I'm like, okay, I will survive, just picking out something, And then after that, I started singing in the band, which was Lenny Klinger's Galaxy Band. And I started singing in the Galaxy Band every week. And to me, it was like, wow, this is great. This is cool. Like, I've never experienced this before, to get to go to different places that I never probably would have ever had the opportunity to go to different country clubs and venues and see all these fancy weddings and how they deck out the decoration. I mean, I saw a lot of things that just make you go, wow, this is amazing. And then the way the people get up and dance, I'm like, wow. And then I get there and sing a song or two and I go and sit down, because at that time I was new and I'm green. And Lenny would have at any given time, he could have about 5 or 6 bands playing on one night. So most times I was paired with Reggie Drake or Jesse. And so they was like my big brothers. I'm like, yeah, I get to sing with them, and they and they took care of me. Come on, Trees, get on out here. I'm like, no. I was still real fearful of being out there on the stage. Really, I was, honestly, and still is. And so then eventually I met the rest of Galaxy. So that's where I met my big sister, Kim. I met Darryl. That was actually 1998 because my son was 1 year old. And I think Darryl came in 99. But I met Kim and I just, oh my God, she was like the best singer ever to me. I'm like, oh. So every time I would be on the gig with Kim, I'm just listening. I'm just like soaking it in. I'm like, oh my gosh, she is fantastic. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to work on myself. I need to, I'm trying to do Miss Kim. I'm like, that was my training. And so, as Kim said earlier, we traveled, not on the national level, but we would travel. And that can be tiresome, very tiresome, physically tiresome, vocally tiresome. But it was fun. We had good times with each other. You get to meet a lot of good musicians, and the camaraderie that we have on stage, and the vibe we have on stage, and the freedom we had on stage, and the fun, exciting times. Still going to church. So if I had a gig on Saturday night, I was still up at church Sunday morning. And like Toby said, you got to be on time. So I think, throughout growing up, I learned how to be mindful of time, being on time, foundation, structure. It just rounded me where I'm just not all over the place, and I think that's what's missing a lot of times, because since they have taken the music out of the school, there is no structure and the foundation, So it's, if we don't have church, we really are powerless. So I commend like Toby and Marvin for your teaching, your students that you're teaching piano and other music instruments, to keep that, because music can relate to people in all genres and all walks of life. It is the universal language that we can understand together. We'll get the same understanding. And I've always wanted to pursue music on a national level, but I was always timid and scared, and kind of just like, no, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. I've done some things locally around St. Louis and did some shows with others. And then I met Marvin Cockrell doing the Red Hot Jazz show. That's when Darryl introduced me to Marvin. So I think that was 2016.
So
15, 16. Yeah. And Marvin, to tell you, when he first met me, I was like in a shell. In a shell. And since then, I've had a good experience all my life. I don't take anything for granted. I'm thankful for every person that I've met along the way, and what I've learned and who I've touched. I have a good time. Stage, I love being on stage. I love performing. I love putting smiles on people's face, and I enjoy it. And Marvin, I want to say maybe 17, or was it 18, when you asked to record Yes. That was the first song.
that was on Red House Stevens. It was like 15. Because really, when you brought her to the house, that was when we started working on it.
Okay, you are correct. That's right. And we recorded Yes. And then after that, I got an opportunity to record another song with you that my Mama V wrote, called Our World. And that was fantastic, man. And it came right at the time when we was going through things in the world was happening. It just was right on time with everything that was going on. And then since then, I've met Carl, I met Toby, all the connections. And I just enjoy every time, like Toby say, we might not see each other maybe 1 or 2 times a year, but when we do, it's like we embrace each other, we love one another. And that's what you remember, and you cherish those times, and you look forward to those times of doing it again, year after year after year. And I apologize because I do have allergies, so my eyes watering. And I came today coming from a funeral. A childhood friend of mine, her sister passed away. So of course, when those things happen, I already had this on the schedule. But of course, funerals are never on a schedule. So you have to make time for that, you know. And so in good times and sad times, I still love to give my best and be there for the people and share my gift in any way that I can.
Very, very good. Well, I'll say that for a minute, but I like to kind of change the directions for a little bit as far as, for example, Justin and Guzman. Young people looking to get involved with the business. With Justin, he's really grown on saxophone, and I can see him. He's under 35, he's 34 years old. He got a whole life ahead of him, and I look to work with him for a little while longer, but then to turn him over to some hardcore horn players and let him really go. What should he look for as far as the future, as far as well, Justin, let me throw it out to you. What would you like to do?
I'm open to anything. Honestly, I don't think I thought that far ahead. You know, I'm still trying to master my scales, but
He's doing a great job.
I would like to be multifaceted. I would like to build a following, take it to YouTube. After the Cardinals win the game, play in front of Bush Stadium, little top hat tips, you know, just whatever I can do, you know, just to get, you know, just have fun with it out there. I'm open to work with other musicians, maybe doing a band thing, maybe performing at Jazz STL, teaching, just really anything. I just want to be the best that I can be.
I'm gonna throw it out to Darryl first. What would you suggest?
Well, he right. What you're doing, you know, practice, learn what you're doing, you know, read up on what you're doing. Like even with the contract things, a lot of people, you know, a lot of people don't really get with big companies anymore. They really do stuff. You know, YouTube is a way to go to, and what the other Wi-Fi or whatever, streaming stuff. That's the way to go. Cause you get your money, you know, make sure you're publishing your writers, you know, and all the kind of things that you can get filtered in to get paid for what you do. And when you do go out, like you say, make sure they pay up and you get your thing together like that. And then you put yourself out there for that, you know, with the YouTube thing. You don't have to, like me and Patrice was talking about that kind of thing too. You don't have to do this Jack the Rapper. Remember Jack the Rapper? I don't know if you remember. That's another Atlanta thing that we, you know, that was out there. And, you know, we don't have to really go through all those kind of avenues anymore, because YouTube and all the streaming things can get you out there a whole lot, you know, and just keep, you know, learn your craft, hone in on it, and make it happen, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I always say, number one, always put God first. Yes. Okay. The music business is a wicked business. The reason why I say you put God first, because if you put the devil first, he'll get you out there. But it won't be the way you think it is, my brother.
Yeah, everything you want, but you don't want it for real.
Darryl was telling me sometime he'd come down to the studio and we would talk, and he'd tell me some stuff that he used to tell me about with the and all that stuff. And they bring you these drugs, women. I know a musician that was playing at our church, excellent drummer. He played for Yeah, but he got caught up because he didn't put God first. He put the devil first, and he got caught up. This brother don't have a potty.
Potty.
No, I'm sorry. Edit that, cut that. Yes. Actually, I feel sorry for him. He started working with the job. I'm a union rep, and I got him a job working with me. And he never had a job. That's all he done was play, which was fine, if you know. But he don't have no Social Security, really. He doesn't have a pension. He doesn't have insurance. Yeah. And you don't want to be what they call shoot, somebody said it from Peaches and Herb when I watched that song. a starving artist. That's what you won't want to be.
Right.
So, like I said, put God first and do your scale.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And practice. And if it's God's will, He'll take you where you need to go.
And that's where your patience, be patient. Everything happens, don't let like you say, the devil, hey, you want to do a show? Yeah. And nothing of it. Do what you need, do what needs to be done. And you'll do it in stride. And believe me, that step, it'll work out great.
That's right. Because He'll come in and say, I can take it to another level.
And He can.
All you got to do is follow me.
Yeah. And it looks so beautiful. But it'd be the worst thing you could ever be in your life, And then with the people, I know music is fun. Have your fun in it, but you don't have a 401k. You don't have insurance. You don't have these reality things that you need. You just got to do what you need. Do what you do. Have fun in music, but do your reality. Like you say, you want to teach. Learn it. Do that and teach. And then you can let other students know exactly what to do too. This is what you say. Get away.
Yeah.
Get away from it all. Just have a good time with it, and after that, but let your reality be the reality for real, but always God first.
That's right.
I'll also say be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Be true to yourself. And everything that sounds good isn't good. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Because they'll things can come to you in all kind of ways, like a wolf with sheep clothing on, and and trap you into something that you didn't realize, and when you do realize, it's too late.
Yep.
So be true to yourself. Stand on your own 2 feet. Don't let nobody just take you anywhere without you giving the okay. You be the one to direct where you're gonna go, and not let nobody else do that. And whatever your passion is, if that your passion is teaching, then teach. If your passion is performing, then perform. But all performances again are not for you. Don't settle for less than what you're worth.
I think you got to have a plan A and you got to have a plan B. And I really think that a lot of times when you're young, you go out there with this, you're going to be the star.
Yes.
And you're going to conquer the world. And then what happens is you find yourself in positions where you have to do things you don't really want to do because you don't have a plan B. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's just really important that you, even like now, take a class. Take a business law class. Or take a music law, where you learn about the industry, always, educate yourself, sit in, go places and sit in so that you can network and get to know people that can help get you where you want to go.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree, put God first, but also have that A and that B. Because I know for me, everybody would tell me, oh, you can really sing. And I was like, I didn't believe that. So I got that degree. I got that degree. I can pay for my bills and everything with this, but our thing gonna be on the backside.
That's right.
But it wasn't like the front side. I'm trying to do. I saw that I went to Vegas one time. I'll never forget. And I did the showcases, and I was offered a job, but it wasn't on the strip, and it was not. I remember it was way long time ago. $400 for the whole band. And I'm like, now wait a minute now. I'm not one of these little young chicks that's, I got a job.
Yeah, that's right.
I got benefits.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Now I want to work out here, but I'm not desperate here.
That's right.
And that's the thing. That's what they take advantage of. But you're young, you're hungry, you're desperate, you'll do anything. And
That's
you
right.
get caught.
Don't do that.
You really don't. And then how do you have a clear head if you're drunk all the time and high all the time? I was just blessed on that. I took my first little puff of reefer when I was 21 and choked for 15 minutes. That was the end of it. At 18, I had a half a cup of Manischewitz wine, and I was crying over Maurice Tosin. We were going together, we broke up. And I was the only one in the house that didn't drink, and my friend's parents had gone to sleep, and I was the only one that didn't drink, and somebody was playing Do Me Right, Do Me Wrong. Matt Isley Brothers, and I got to drinking that Manischewitz wine. And when I got through howling, screaming, and falling out, woke up the parents. They had to put me in a tub of cold water, brew the coffee, drive me home. That was the end of my drinking career. So I was just very blessed in my life that wasn't what I was into. But how do you handle business? How do you give your best to people when you're drunk and you're high?
That's right.
Now, some people do.
Some people.
But they pay a price for that.
Yes,
That's
they
right.
do.
And it might not look like it is. Well, look how wonderful Shaka Khan was back in the day. And remember when they didn't even want her here anymore because she wouldn't show up?
Right.
Every time she'd be here high. Or one time she was so high,
Yeah.
she couldn't even perform.
Right.
So you got to have a stable head.
Yeah.
You got to know where you're going.
Yeah.
Watch your crowd that you hang with.
Right.
That's right.
Because sometimes they are the influencers.
Yes.
You know, and always have an A and a B.
Yeah.
And maybe in your life, it might not be the stardom that Beyonce or whatever gets. But maybe the stardom is that you're doing what you want to do and you're happy with what you do. I feel like I got the best life going. You know, I do what I want to do over here. I got a little money over here that, you know, for my little job to sustain
That's right.
my life bill gas.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And, you know, and I don't have to worry about, you know, how am I going to pay the bills? I know so many musicians I worked with.
That's what I'm saying.
I know that they said, Kim, when I got an actual job, I was called a sellout because I got a job.
I will sell.
They were musicians,
But
but
they-
they got a job.
Yeah.
And they talk about it right to this day. They say, Kim, best thing I could have ever done was got a job.
Yep.
Didn't do a lot of traveling, but had success here in St. Louis. And now I'm retiring. Got insurance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got health insurance. Got life. He said, a lot of the other ones that I worked with that told me I was a sellout, like you said, nothing.
Well, nothing.
They're trying to decide between medicine
Yep.
Yeah.
and the light bill.
And the light bill. There it is.
I
And
know.
they were like, a lot of them like, the best thing we could have ever done is get, and I tell you, like a couple of them, TC, Terry Coleman, Carlos played drums for, what's that group Adrian's in? Coleman Hill. Hey, you know, we worked together. They were like, best thing we could have ever done was got a job. But they called us sellouts. But they had an A. They had a B. You gotta have an A.
That's
You
right.
gotta have a B.
And you have to, I'm
And
sorry.
they're still, yeah, they're doing great. They're still doing what they love.
Yeah.
And yet,
Yeah.
they got their pension check coming in.
That's right. And you have to hang out. You have to hang out
coming in
with.
every month.
Have to try to hang out with people that doesn't do that stuff.
That's right.
Because when I got with Marvin back in '89, you know, I always wanted to be with a band that didn't do drugs. Because I wasn't into smoking, drinking, and doing drugs. And God blessed me to meet this man here. I can't remember not one time when it was Breeze or all the other names that the guys that was with us. I've never seen them do marijuana. I mean, they drink a little bit. Oh, okay, but I've never seen. He never did it right. He never did it around us. Right, he never did it around us. Right, yeah. Yeah, but he never did it around us. You know what I'm saying? So that helped.
And I say that sometimes people get high. I mean, they might smoke a little joint. Okay. But when it gets to the point where
Well,
you
yeah,
can't
out of
handle
control.
yourself
Right.
and you're not handling your business,
Yeah.
it's a problem.
Yeah. It's-
I know a friend right now, I ain't gonna call no name. Alcoholic to as alcoholic can be. Tried to stop. But that's the problem in this business too. Every
Yeah.
time he's trying to stop, they're sending drink. People are complimenting him by sending. And he's trying not to drink. But that's their way of, and so it's hard when you get caught in that. It's so hard to get out of that.
I know national recording artists that you will see on stage, they don't have a dime.
Yeah.
But you thinking they
You think they living a life, living large.
they don't have nothing.
Not nothing.
I done talk with them and sit down like, dang. You know, it's like, but like I said, I don't want to say no names either. You know, that's the reality of it. You know, you got this horror stories out here that you would think people happy inside that I don't know what. And they the saddest, loneliest people ever. Then they get to doing all of this.
I think that performing is a very it's like a lot of irony in it. It's like when you go on the road and you're out here, you don't know what I'm talking about, and all these people are like, yeah,
That's
and,
you get caught
and you
up
don't
in
know
it.
anybody.
Yep.
And so you're up there and you're performing, but when you go back to the hotel room, it's like such the loneliest thing. Because you don't know anybody. You're in
You
the
don't know
city,
anything.
but you don't know anybody.
Right.
You can't call anybody. Can't go visit. It's like you're kind of all.
Well, you're
While you're on
isolated.
stage in the eyes of others, you're like this thing. But when you get back, it's like you're just this little peon that's in a room. And it's like if you don't really have yourself together and have yourself grounded, it's easy to go to stuff.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing, but it's a lonely thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't you all think?
Yeah, no, yeah.
And you're away from family and
That's why you gotta have, keep
you gotta
your
have your head
foundation.
right.
You do.
You like your family, friends,
Yeah, you gotta have
real
your head.
family,
Real
friends.
friends.
You know, not them ones that like you because you on stage.
Not the fair weather friends.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got this
You gotta
that
have the
reality. This is fun.
No.
But your reality. You know.
And let me say this. If you ever make it big, please don't go diva-fied. Don't get arrogant and cocky, like many do.
They wait for you to fall.
And treat people, talk to people bad. And
That's
treat
right.
them bad. I'm telling you.
They wait for you to fall.
Worst thing you could ever do. Because you never know. I'm telling you, I got so many gigs. And a man told me one time, we really wanted this person. Oh, you okay. But we really wanted this person. But we can't work with them.
Right.
Can't. When you know what I'm talking about? We can't work with them.
I just want the brown M&M.
Yeah. No, we can't work
And
with
this
them.
happened. For real.
I mean, you got it. You cannot be. Please don't. I think you really have to be the kind of person, and I guess that's it. You gotta,
Stay humble.
gotta be nice, kind,
And don't be too afraid to ask
Right.
somebody. Ask.
Yeah.
There's a lot of experience around everywhere. Don't be so proud that you can't go and ask somebody for advice.
You know, I'm so glad that you said having a plan A and a plan B,
yeah,
because
yeah.
that was the biggest thing that I feared. Like, if I was to pursue music on that level, I was like, yeah, I got a son at home and bills to pay, and then and I was like, I always feared it. I don't never want to be without my lights, without shelter, without the basic needs that I need to have to live and function. So, like Kim said, I got that degree, so that I know that I'll have something for my future. I will have a pension. I will have insurance. I'll be able to take care of myself. And then singing was just an outlet for me. And I find the joy in that, so that I wasn't worried about being on that big stage in that way. But the stage that I am on, that I do perform on, is big enough for me.
She made
and
it.
that's relative to your situation.
She made
That's
it.
big stage. Big stage might be right here in St. Louis.
That's right.
Big stage for me was at the bistro.
Hello.
I made
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Marvin. I like to hear from Usman and Ms. Gordon, but I just want to throw out one thing. I think people and I played more a little bit, Mayweather, Jerry Williams, musicians. I think they would really, really be proud to hear you all saying that, you got your business together. You're just not out there. If something happens and you need to go fund me. We're blessed. We're a generation that we're truly blessed. We're talking about degrees or just having that foundation. So
Good job.
I know they would be very happy to know that, what they did, talking to us and telling us, hey, this is how it really is. You need to prepare. And of course, our parents. Again, we are a blessed folks. So I just want to stick that in. Questions that you may have with us as far as just whatever.
Yeah, well, I was curious, just thinking of the music industry as it is today. And I know you had mentioned when it comes to education, I think sometimes the musicians have to be the ones that advocate for what they would like to see. And thinking of the ways in which artists are able to get themselves out there primarily through YouTube and streaming. There's a lot of issues with that, because you can pay for a CD, that's $15, $20.
Right.
You get one stream, that's like what, 7 cents, if that? So how are there ways that you have seen artists being able to advocate for themselves to get the compensation that they deserve?
Still, the old way is always the best way. You got to get out here. You can say you do a show. You can sell your CD. You just, like my man said, you went on the block playing the saxophone. You can get a whole bunch of CDs sold like that. All the groundwork never ended. That's the reality of it. The whole thing. I remember when I got signed when I was with Warner Brothers. I was in the street side hanging up posters. Me, the artist, I'm like, dang, they supposed to have a street team out there, But I'm in there hanging up, posters to sell the record today. I'm paying for it basically because it was a loan because I got to pay this money back.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that you getting a loan for all that, but now with your streaming and stuff, that's just the beginning of the job. Now you got to go to work for real.
Yeah. And the way to distribute music has changed so much over the years because even now, you get a new car. There's no CD players in cars. They have a little aux or a USB, and then everyone has their phone, so they can just Bluetooth their phone into the car and they can just stream Pandora or Apple Music and all these different avenues to hear music. And like you say, it's only like 7 cents for every time someone, or however much it is for somebody it's not that much. But like Darryl said, that hitting the ground never fails. That has always been the way to go, because to have a company, say a music company, doing this for you, okay, they'll upfront all this money to put you out there, but then you're the slave for them. You working for them because they're gonna get their money out of you because they done put all this into you to get your name out there and all the lights and the shine and everything that you want, and you got money, but you got to pay that back. That means you're gonna be on shows, you're gonna be on tours, and you're gonna be tired. But that's the contract that you signed up for. So don't give in to that. Don't go for it, because that takes away from the joy that you really want in music. That takes that all away. And that's why I say be true to yourself. And if it sounds too good, it is too good to be true. It is.
Mario, can you add to that as far as how you
Everything that you said, start with the basics. I think just being mindful of the technological age that we're in, balancing YouTube and TikTok, paying attention to trends and hashtags, because it's something that's not going away. So just like I work with you, how many views do you have? Where are your people? So taking the time to put yourself on the different platforms and then figure out, okay, here's where my audience is. But also being mindful of the type of jobs that you want. Like if you're wanting corporate jobs or weddings, maybe on LinkedIn, connecting with wedding planners and HR people that can hire for these corporate events and wellness events. So just adding on and trying new things out until you find what works for you. And then engaging with your audience, the comments, the likes, following other people. So I feel like it's kind of a mix of everything, in person and online, until you kind of find what your mix is.
That's it. This is
Very good.
What? we would definitely appreciate your wisdom and just what we've been talking about, and whatever you feel that you can give us.
Well, I would say surround yourself with people that you don't really know who you can trust. I put it like this: I was blessed. I had mentors like May Miller and Jeannie Trevor and all them, and they helped me through business. I started late as per se for artists. Most of y'all went to school, sang in church, did this and that. I was really a poet. And May saw something in me, and she put me on one of her diva shows. And then from there, it kind of went. And then I met Jeannie, So I want to tell y'all this. The ones that's on the stage, reach back and help somebody. Bring somebody up. Just don't. Just like with this young man. It's good he's here today, but then let him come to your gigs. Let him sit in. Let him, you know, I have a show every year where I have professional artists, but Marvin said that half of them people don't know.
Right.
You know, like Roland Johnson, he sang in Sulard. The best artist you want to hear, but people didn't know him.
Right.
Kim sang with the Lenny Klinger. Nobody, you know, in the North County area, they didn't know Kim. You know, so I just said that we know that we're not gonna be here, and to leave some of what we have or our knowledge for the young kids, you know, pull them back up, you know, surround them with some of your knowledge, and don't be afraid that they're gonna
take your place.
Take your place, because nobody can take a place.
Right.
You know, nobody can take your place.
Right.
You know, and it's best to pass the torch on. That's what I'm about.
And I think that's what Ralph Butler did for me.
Yeah.
He was not fearful at all. He said, Kim, you like it? You want to stay? I'll get another band. He didn't have to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was you all know what I'm talking. He was very popular.
AJ
And he was like just.
Oh yeah, AJ did that with us. Yeah.
Did he?
And my cousin.
And Darryl Glenn, Charles Glenn is his cousin. Is Darryl's cousin.
No, you was at the.
That's right.
At the second act.
Right, yeah, but he did that for us also. You know, and, you know, we try to help each other in any kind of way that we can, you know. And that's, I mean, and then the next person, that's how it all balances.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
One thing I think we all know is that Marvin does this. Because he's always bringing and filtering young people through, whether he's teaching them or he's just bringing them into his shows. There's always somebody new coming through, you know, and that's big exposure.
It is.
I really didn't hear what you said, but
We're just talking about you, that's all.
And let me see. I guess everybody up there can say now, if it wasn't for who would this truly be together like this?
Vivian.
Visionary.
I said that, you know, being a musician and doing things, it costs money. You don't have someone in your corner saying, hey, you know, maybe we'll be a little late this month back then on the bill. We'll hold back on this so that you can do this and that. That's how she's been. And, you know, just like Maria was saying, Dad, you know, you got the cities give you the month of August as Marvin Outcome Music Focus Month. You know, Dad, you got to get busy if you get some stuff going. I'm like, oh my daughter. So
to have that backing.
You all volunteered your time today to come and do this, and there's just a reflection on, you know, love I have for you, love you, give me back what we want to do for our, you know, our society and our people. You know, we want to bring them up. Teaching 33 years, I was blessed to teach a lot of students, and you know, I'm in the school, and if you may have heard of Carlos Brown, the young saxophone player, or Greg Lewis, but the Greg Lewis, some of my students, they're traveling all over the world.
Right.
And it's like, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. So I thank you all. And I think, Vivian, you had a question that you wanted to ask?
I had several. I've learned so much, and I've heard, even though I've been with him for years, that's why it's good to network, because you hear different things and you have different questions, and we are always inspiring to do better, you know, even with music focus. And so for aspiring artists and even artists that are older, how do you keep the momentum going? Well, I know you've had challenges and setbacks. What do you do? How do you handle those setbacks and those challenges? And how do you keep your momentum going? Even though you're passionate, because we've run into that. We've had it. I know it's times where you just the way music is changing and technology is coming in, and you might have this style of music, but you're trying to still bring in the audience. They have a different preference. How do you do that without compromising your musical style? You know, what do you do to keep things going?
Oh, okay. Well, you really, like you said, you gotta love what you're doing. You gotta have the passion for what you're doing. Like myself, even though I don't want to dab in it as I did, you know, but I like singing. I like writing songs, you know. So I do, even though I don't do it as much as I used to. I used to sit at home and write 20, 30 songs a day. I had stacks of songs, but now I just don't do it like that. As I got older, I had some more reality had to kick in. But I still like doing music, so, you know, even though I do it sporadically, you know, recording and performing and all that, and keeping the audience, it's a different type of music out here nowadays. It's not
everything is different.
It's not the same as, you don't have that love music, you know. You got all this
Ratchet.
Yeah. Ratchet skank. but you still have that audience that do want to hear that. And there's a whole lot of people that want to hear that. They, you know, we do some they love like the Motown stuff. They love Motown music because it's love, and it was like a camaraderie in that music. But you had a bunch of other artists that did the same type of songs, but you gotta, when you out, you gotta do those songs, and people will sit back and they'll sing them with you, and they'll enjoy that, and they can bring other people into it. And like, you know, with the new thing, what's it called?
Streaming in YouTube. The new thing. The new thing.
The new thing.
I'm not a computer guy, I'm sorry. Yeah, but you know, you still can put that out there, and people still pick it up. You know, even, you know, you can, and like the street thing, you get out there and tell me, yeah, you can hit me on the street, and blah, 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 blah. And then people will do that, you know, and they'll go and check it out. And that love will still come in there because they'll hear that. They'll hear that from the passion you have for the music.
I would say when we were singing with Lenny Klinger, Galaxy Band, and the last gig that Darryl and I did was a New Year's Eve gig, 2017. But I had told Darryl like maybe a couple of months before then, I said, Darryl, why don't we get out here and, you know, step on out and just do a duo thing? We could do it. He was like, yeah, right. And so what I did was I went and bought a whole I bought a whole sound system. I got the mixer board, the speakers, the wires. I got the whole thing. Got it on sale too, you know, Black Friday. And I said, Darryl, I got it. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. So on that last gig, I said, come on, let's get out here and do it. Now, I'm still scared, but I'm up here like, I'm willing to, you know, as long as you hang in there with me, and you know how to do it, we can do it. And I knew it was going to be different because we didn't have a band. We were just going to be doing off the tracks. So that was a little different and a different way to do what we like to do. And I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know where we was going to get a gig at. You know, I didn't know where we was. And so we went to see your cousin, Charlie Glenn, out at Donatelli's. And first Darryl went up to sing. and then Darryl came back. He said, Trish, you know you're going to have to sing. I'm like, no, I'm not going to sing it here. I go up in my shell again. I ain't going to sing. Come on. So then Charles calls me up there. I'm like, and all these people, I mean, the place was full. It was packed. And I did Rolling in the Deep. And oh my gosh, they just, oh my gosh. And I was just like, oh, I don't know what happened. And so then the owner was like, yeah, when you guys are free, when you're available. I'm like, oh, let's check the calendar. And then after that, another friend of ours, AJ, he was singing out at Schnucks. And so he would have me to come and Darryl to come. We would sit in with him. And that's the thing we talk about when you network with people. You know, you have people come and let them get up there and sing with you. It's all about, you know, hey, spreading the love and spreading the joy. And I would get up there and sing with them a few times. And then eventually we got a date to do Schnucks, which ends up being like our main place to go and sing. And then the pandemic hit. So then everything shut down. So it was like, oh, you know, what are we gonna do now? 2022, I think it was when they started picking it back up again. And they reached out to us and we started playing out there again. And the people at Schnucks, it's an older crowd, older setting, which I love. I love that. But that's when I realized this is the audience that I want to perform for. I don't want to be in smoky clubs and nightclubs and playing 4 hours till 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. That is not fun. That is no. And I'm breathing in all this smoke and I can't, you know, come on. I want to, you know, be with this audience and sing songs that they enjoy that I also enjoy because these are songs that I grew up on too, from Motown and stuff like that. And you just learn, you take notes as you go. All my life I've taken notes and I learned from, okay, what worked and what didn't work, and now I know how to continue and make it better. Even with the changing of the styles of music that's out there, I'm not trying to sing for that crowd of people because that's not what I want to do. So I make a choice. You make a choice of who you want to be, what type of musician you want to be. If you want to be a classy musician, if you want to, you know, a jazz musician, a gospel musician, whatever you want to be. But I know what I don't want to be. I do know that. So I stand on always wanting to put myself in the light where I'm looking good and it's respectable and it's good for me.
That's right.
And when people see me walking down the street, they'll remember me for something I did good in a good light, not something I was, you know, bucking or something. And doing.
You know what I think though too? I think you really have to know who you are.
Right.
And I think that, you know, you try to fit in with all these genres, but you really have to kind of know who you are.
But you gotta be yourself.
Yeah, but you got, and I really feel this too. There's nothing like when you've gotten up in front of people and they appreciate what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And they are so receptive and they're so, it's a feeling. It's like, God, thank you. You know, really, because it's not you got done anything, right?
Because they didn't have to come.
You got it. God has given it to you. So it's like, I think that is what you kind of have to remember, those good times. Because I know this too. Everybody's not going to like you.
Right.
I don't care if you can blow.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, I did not like Natalie Cole. Now, I loved her jazz stuff.
Yeah.
But I did not like her R&B. And I felt she could really sing. But she didn't do anything for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I understand, even with myself, everybody's not going to like you.
Right.
You don't take it offensively.
Right.
You know, you just know that you just might not be what turns them on, and that's okay.
Right. You have good shows,
You do the
have
best.
bad
That's
shows.
it. You just be the best you can be.
That's right.
You find out what you love and what you do best. Like me, I had to
And
leave
do it well.
R&B alone because Lord. Then last time I got up there at that little gig, and I was the oldest one up there, and I had to sing Rude Boy.
Oh my God.
I'll be honest. And I'm up there and I'm going, do you know? Get it up. Get it up, boy. Get it up. Take it. I said, that's it. I was done with that.
I go that
I said,
way.
Lily, I I
That's
did
that.
not get up there singing no Rude Boy because I am the grandma. They don't want to hear me sing Rude Boy. And he's going, Kim, they don't like Motown no more. They just want to. I said, I can't do it.
I know that's right.
And I'm done.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And that's what I had to look at myself.
Right.
You ain't lying. And I'm telling you, it ain't nothing like what you said. Be true to yourself because, like you said, Rude Boy.
I was gonna say, going now,
That's not what I want you guys to remember me singing. Rude Boy.
That's
priceless.
Come and take the nose.
And I said to myself right then, I said, Kim, what is your role?
That's right.
Right.
And what do you want to do?
Right.
And I said, okay, yes, that I'm older, and so the things have changed. And so the music that I used to do is not anymore.
Right.
So what can you do that you still feel comfortable with, that you can still maybe resonate? And you might not resonate with every artist.
That's
But
right.
as long as you touch somebody,
Right.
That's right.
Find your
that's where I found where I
you
was.
know.
Because I was like, oh, this ain't getting here. I can't sing this.
But that goes back to what Mario was just saying. It is about the marketing.
Yeah.
You got to look at where we are nowadays
Yes.
because everything is not live, everything's not R&B, everything's not. It's
changed
everything.
now.
Right.
And so, like you find where Marvin fits in. You almost need that person to help you through that. You know, if that's not your strong suit, don't try to do
That's
it.
right.
Because you're going to get those. We don't like those, you know. So have that Mario person, that Vivian person, that person that's going to, you know, y'all know young people, that's what y'all do all the time. So use that as your exposure to everything. But I would say be prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared. Learn your craft. If this is what you're going to do, you're going to play sax. No, be the baddest sax player out there in your mind and what you're doing, but learn. Somebody said, and I play piano, but they said, learn how to play, learn how to read music.
Yes.
If you know how to read music, you can play and do anywhere, everywhere. You can go and play for a church on a Sunday because you just want to sit in and you need to make some money because, you know, it's about the gig too.
Yes, my money.
And that's a gig. You know, it's a blessing. That's whatever. But that's what the kids call it. It's a gig.
It's yeah.
Okay. So if that's what you need to do, because that pays the bills too. That's the bottom line. But if that's you need to be exposed. You need to market. You need to be online. You can still sing R&B and jazz and whatever it is, but be online. Every time I turn or look at Facebook, I see Marvin Cockrell in focus. Marvin ain't doing that. I know who's doing that, but I know you're not. You got the marketing person here, but it's the exposure. You see it, and other people see it, and then we take it and share it to everybody else, and that's how it's getting out there.
I'm
So
getting better. I'm getting better.
You also need education. I don't care what you know. A vocalist still periodically needs voice lessons.
True.
You know, you need to always kind of take some lessons to better yourself, or go to a clinic, or you know, just something that you kind of still are exposing yourself to different stuff, because it's so easy to get kind of. You know, I was one of those. I never read music. I was one of those in church singing and could sing, and I had this wonderful range.
Good ear.
And had a good ear. And so it was like I never really realized what I couldn't do. I would go audition for choirs, and you'd have to know how to read, but I didn't know, right? And they say, sing, I go, they go, and I have the book in front of me like I'm reading.
yeah, I know a lot of people like that. Know a lot of people
But
like
I
that.
realized, but I realized, like now in life, it's like, whoa, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't learn how to,
that's true.
really read and constantly, and there's no excuse all these years going by.
But still.
And but I have taken lessons, and and then it's like, it's the strangest thing, because when they asked me to do the thing at SIU, it was like stage presence and connecting with an audience, and we were cool as long as I had to do that. Oh, I had that. I was telling my little students. But when that girl said, I want to know how to improve my range, and I want technique. I want to learn about technique. Hell, I was trying to find me a voice teacher. Because I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. Because, and so I say, learn, the learning never stops. Keep trying, keep surrounding yourselves with people that you can benefit from. I mean, that you can really learn from. Go to clinics, take classes, continue. And it's lifelong. in this profession.
Yes.
You know, you're long grown.
And like Vivian was saying, what motivates me or keep me from getting depressed because the music has changed.
Yes.
I'm gonna go scripture on you. Scripture says, oh man, my mind just went blank. Oh shoot.
That's what I do all the time.
Mine just went.
The old ladies, man.
Oh, brother. Just be who you are. I forgot my scripture there.
That's okay.
Scripture that uplifts you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's that moment.
Oh, there it is. He who has an ear, let them hear. Basically, I'm kind of paraphrasing. So, if it's not your type, if people don't want to hear your music, it's not for them to hear anything.
Right, not you.
That's right. Right. So you just do what you do.
That's it.
It'll be whatever's good for them, you know. I mean, I'm not a rock guitarist. I'm not a rock musician. I don't like a lot of rock songs. But there's a lot of popular rock songs out there. But for those that like rock,
That's
who it's for.
Oh, you know what you can do too? Be innovative. Like I did this. When you remember when I did this? We took Happy. So you know, Happy run out there, and we jazzed it up. And it was cool. It was. It might sound crazy what I'm trying to say. So it might sound crazy.
Well, I just recorded
Yeah.
in Gyra Records. My single Storm Clouds that is now streaming. So that's my rose. That's my rose. It was a bud, but now it's a rose. Bud is to continue to work on more music and getting back in the studio, more writing. The thorn is I have some ideas and I just need to get them in order so that I can start getting it ready to come out. So it's work in progress. I'm looking to start a nonprofit. And what I want to do with that is to work with young musicians starting at the age of 5 through 18 and help them be able to showcase what they do on a level that they wouldn't ever have the opportunity to do. So, yeah, just something that's brewing.
Well, I think my rose and buds is rose and bud. I mean, like I said, I have fun in doing this. I'm not really looking for being out there. You know, like I'm working. I'm gonna do some gospel things. You know, because God did it. You know, He gave it. And if I don't give it, let him say, look here, I need some of that from you. And I want to give a whole lot to that to him. So I'm going to do that. And the thorn is just like, I don't really have no thorns. I done plucked them on out through them away.
That's right.
So I don't really have no thorns. I mean, like I said, I enjoy this, you know, and that's what I do. I enjoy it. I don't let it hinder me. I don't let it depress me. I don't let it bring me down. And okay, if I be on stage and I hit sour notes, then hey, I'm human. I hit sour notes.
It is what it is.
You crack.
Let's just have some fun.
That's right. That's right.
You crack too. I heard you while you was laughing. No. But like this, I have fun in this. I enjoy it. You know, and that's what I would tell everybody. Just have fun with it. Don't let it take over your mind and soul. You know, just have a good time with it. You know, decent and in order, and it'll all be good. Yep, that's it for me.
Rosebud and thorn. Rosebud and thorn. Pass it to me.
Okay, I guess the rose for me would be, I don't know, just thanking God for where I'm at now in my life. With my music, owner of Gyra Records, and I just enjoy writing and producing and helping people. I mean, I almost like that better than playing.
Yeah.
Seriously. And I've been playing all my life. But to take something raw and it comes from the thought, then you put it on a guitar, a keyboard, and record it and produce it, and it blooms to something beautiful that can touch somebody's life.
Yeah.
Can't get no better than that. Bud, right? Where we at now?
But you're working on something.
I'm working on. Okay, I'm always working. Jar Records always working. I'm always working on
Roll Bud.
Thank you. My hours are Monday through Friday.
I'm working on 9 to 5. Yes, babe.
Anyway, hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You made me forget why I'm.
You're always working.
Oh, thank you. I'm always working, and this last project with Patrice, that was really fun. And Doc Brownridge and I never been in a situation where we had to do something fast.
We ain't done yet.
We had to do that quick. So that's probably one of our fastest production that we've ever done. We don't like doing it like that because you can mess up, and once it's out there, it's out.
But it wasn't messed up. It's beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. So, you all put us.
I know I pushed you.
You pushed us. Yeah, and I just thank God for that. Thank God for my friend Marvin over there with working with his stuff, and two with Darryl, he comes down and says, "Hey man, you got more music? You have more music? You have more?" It's like, hold up, man. But again, I just thank God for where I'm at now, for my rose and a bud and my thorns, because without thorns, you can't make it. You can't get to the other two.
That's right. There you go.
Make it scoot along.
All right. My rose is, I thank God for the talent that he gave me to actually be a drummer and do the thing that I do. And my thorn is just working hard, all this practice, trying to get all this stuff. It's rough. That's a thorn. And what's the other one? Bud. Well, I'm just glad I was able to get through it and get all this stuff and become the musician that I am and making the kind of money that I'm making. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's it for me.
Well, I think for me, I'm going to do the thorn first. I think that when I look at my musical career, there have been ups and downs, and I think have been, had a lot of trouble with my voice, just a lot of stuff, and I've lost some money. And some people in here know what I'm talking about. One paid thousands of dollars trying to be a friend in the business. But that's the thorn. But when I look at my rose, from whence I've come, from the thorns, I haven't missed a beat by the grace of God.
That's right.
So I can use some of my money that I own. but I have not missed a beat by not having.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? No light bill has been cut off. No mortgage payment was not made because of it. So, and when I look at my voice, no, I'm not that first soprano that I used to be in my young life. But who can say, I remember 24 I had just got out of school, so I was with Ralph Butler. Who can say 40 plus years later that I'm even in the game in any type of way? I just feel so blessed that I'm even in any kind of way. So my what's the other one? Bud is that I, just kind of enjoy where I am now. There was a lot of hard work put in for many years. A lot of sacrifices made with family. And there was a lot of times I wasn't there with my husband or my child because I was on the road, or working and so occupied with that I couldn't, sometimes be the mother that I wanted to be, or be the wife that I wanted to be. But I just thank God that where I am in my life right now, I just look at it, and with all of it, you know, I am just very satisfied and happy with my life. You know, I feel like my whole life has been nothing but a book that the Lord has written, and I mean that. I mean, good parents, good husband, good job, good friends, good. Yeah, I really feel like that. You know, so I feel like where I am right now, I'm cruising right now.
That's right.
It's been a good life.
Yeah.
It's been a good life.
I think my rose is just the longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the music world, the longevity of it all. The bud is that I should be doing more as far as recording and things like that. It's there. I know what I want to do. Just getting it out. So I'm going to be working on that. Carl. The thorns, I think, being in the position that I am in, just being director of music and things, the thorns you see every week.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And just getting through the thorns of it all. You know, everybody comes with different personalities, even though we've all grown up together, grown old together, you know, and so going through that piece of it, whether it's, in the music field or working or whatever it is, you get to a certain stage in your life, you don't put up with the crap.
That's right.
You know, and so that's the thorns. There's always going to be thorns. But the end of that is the rose.
It's the
That's
rose.
right.
That's it.
Well, you
So,
said.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marvin.
Grew up.